Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and many of you may or may not have been there, but when I first started this channel, I started by showing you all, remember I had gotten into crypto in 2014-ish, and when I first saw it, it reminded me of what I had witnessed during the dot-com boom. Well, after the dot-com, or maybe right after the bust and all, I was a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. I'm not a financial advisor now, but I was. And when you're a financial advisor, they teach you about what's called asset allocation. Asset allocation kind of starts by showing charts like this, and it shows you in these colored, they're like heat maps, asset class heat maps, and it shows you how these financial advisors, they go over this kind of stuff with their clients, and they show them, it illustrates for a client why you don't put all of your assets in one thing. You diversify, and then that way, and it shows that some asset, like one asset class might, like high yield did the best here in 2016, but the next year it was Chinese equities that did the best. Next year it was cash that did the best. Next year it was US equities. China equities again 2020, commodities in 2021, commodities in 2022, then US equities, then in 2025, European equities. But on some of these heat maps, it'll show like gold or real estate, but this particular one doesn't show all that. But I don't see real estate on here. But anyway, it's more of general stuff on here. But and then they might have bonds. But the point is, each one of these asset classes performs differently each year. And so they sit down with their clients based on their situation, and they say, hey, you're older, so we want to put you heavier in bonds for the income, and this is the kind of stuff, the thought exercises they go through. And I said when I first started this channel that where I thought this was going, where it was to a place where they were that once the financial advisors had a way to make money on this, which is where we are now, it took all these years, that they were going to allocate 1 to 5% to crypto. That was before I had completed the picture of what crypto was in my mind. Now I think crypto's even bigger than that. And the reason is that all of these asset classes that you're looking at are going to be tokenized on things like the XRP ledger. And so for that reason, now I believe that the allocations are going to be a lot more than 1 to 5%. That means if you're in a blue chip crypto like XRP, American crypto like XRP, that's actually going to be, the XRP ledger is actually going to be doing the tokenizing, which means that a lot of the pairs of these tokens will be right beside XRP, is the way I see this happening. So I think that the allocations that the financial advisors that are coming, because now they're going to be able to make money on this, the allocations are going to be pretty massive. So let's look. This guy right here is Rick Edelman. He is CBDA certified in blockchain and digital assets. It says if your clients will live to 100, stocks, bonds alone won't cut it. I explain why your allocation should be 10 to 40% crypto. And he's got a little write-up that he's done, or a book. And then there was this tweet from Hunter Horsley. This is one of the guys at Bitwise. Thrilled to report one of the leading banks globally managed greater than 1 trillion assets under management in wealth management approved a Bitwise crypto ETF for advisors to use in managed accounts. Now the work begins to support thousands of advisors building their thesis on crypto. Work we love doing. 2025 is the start of the mainstream era. So I hope that what I just covered gives you a good picture of what's coming, because it is massive. Here's Donald Trump on the Standard. Wonder what he's talking about.
What they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can, but what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can take over and be the standard. And we're not going to lose the standard at any time. If you have a smart president, you will never lose the standard. If you have a stupid president like the last one, you would lose the standard. You wouldn't have the dollar as you. And if we lost,
you know what I think? I think XRP was created to prevent World War III, and to help save the U.S. dollar and replace the petrodollar, and XRP is the standard.
The world standard dollar, that would be like losing a war, a major world war. We would not be the same country any longer. We're not going to let that happen. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay? And I'm just saying, if people want to challenge it, they can, but they're going to have to pay a big price. And I don't think any of them are willing.
King dollar, king XRP, huh? Here's Anthony Pompliano with Charles Gasparino. Not Charles Gasparino. Charles, I forgot his name. I think it's Charles.
The ProCap made a significant institutional move, purchasing 3,700 Bitcoin at an average price of $103,000 just yesterday. And the question is, right, there's not a lot of Bitcoin left. I mean, it sounds like the Wild West right now. Where do you find this Bitcoin?
Yeah, so we own now 4,950 Bitcoin. Our goal is to buy as much Bitcoin as we possibly can. I like to think of now there's a new professional sport for Bitcoiners, which is who can acquire the most Bitcoin. And as much as we want to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, there's a lot of other companies that want to do this as well. And so to your point, what you're starting to see is you are starting to see OTC desks or maybe Bitcoin on exchanges. Those numbers are going down. And so naturally, price will have to readjust upwards because people don't want to sell their Bitcoin at $107,000, $108,000. This has been the story of Bitcoin for 15 years now, is Bitcoin's price has got to go up to convince some people to sell to the new people who want to buy the Bitcoin.
It's the circle.
It's not going to be Bitcoin that's getting the people are piling in on, in my opinion. You know, the Bitcoin's had its chance. Now, here's Kathy Wood. I was drawing a blank on her name. I'm tired.
I heard Tom Lee describe the Circle IPO as the Chat GPT moment. And I understand it, because now, whereas before we were saying to institutional investors in particular, you may not like this thing called crypto or digital assets, but it's a new asset class. And you have to have a point of view. If you don't like it, you need to have reasons why you are not including this new asset class in your asset allocation. And so we were kind of spitting in the wind, to be honest. Not until the Bitcoin ETFs came out, we got a little more of an audience around that, but you still had the SEC kicking and screaming, even around the ETFs. And then you do get a new administration, a complete change from a regulatory point of view. And yes, Circle going public. And I think when people ask me what's the biggest surprise, I thought, and from probably our last podcast, I really thought that Bitcoin would serve the role that stablecoins are going to serve right now. From the point of view of emerging markets in particular, their Tether is more the stablecoin backed in large part by treasuries. So I think that's the biggest surprise to me. But I think because of that IPO, I don't know if it was the safety that, being backed 100% by treasury securities conferred upon it. But finally, we have institutions studying this and studying it hard, because you cannot miss, the equivalent of AI and crypto together as we go towards agentic, also with DeFi threatening all of them as well. They better get with the program. So you're right, light switch. It's almost like a light switch has gone on here, and it's thrilling. And I think Robinhood, launching its tokenized strategy, launching its own layer 2, using the Arbitron, launching perpetual futures in Europe and the UK, and rolling out staking or re-rolling out staking. It's going for it. This is, we think this could become one of the most important financial services institutions in the world.
It is massive what is coming, folks. And here's Charles Hoskinson, stablecoin tsunami.
They've been tremendously successful from a growth hacking perspective. Cryptocurrency has gone from nothing to 550 million users within 15 years, from no value to a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem, but they have still stayed somewhat divorced from the Web 2 world and the legacy financial world. They're not interconnected and interoperable. So really the next 5 to 10 years in the industry, it's about how do you build bridges and how do you reset the incentive layer of the system so that people make more money cooperating together. And we're starting to see this with stablecoins, for example. They're working their way into the cryptocurrency space, and they went from nothing to $243 billion of stablecoins issued with Tether and Circle and the other major standards, about 180 million transactions per month. So huge amount of volume. And probably by 2030, we're going to have stable coins grow to about $1 trillion to $2 trillion vertical.
Wow.
And probably about 500 million to 1 billion transactions per month. So massive growth.
That is massive growth. Here's the Brad Garlinghouse full testimony to Senate Banking Committee, folks. Hope you understand how huge this is. Look what he's going to say in front of Congress. Ripple leverages the XRP ledger, a decentralized, battle-tested, open-source blockchain, and its native digital asset XRP to facilitate payments. XRP is built to enable fast, low-cost, and highly scalable transactions. It is going to be epic. Okay, wanted to show you this. Chad Steingraber is all over this. Holy crap, XRP Korea is talking about the Upbit XRP volume. Folks, this is what I'm going to talk about in the group, DAIXRP.com, the Patreon, or you can click join below any of my YouTube videos, or you can click the subscribe button on X. Here's what we're going to talk about. Many of you weren't there in 2018 when South Korea volume was going nuts and the XRP price was going nuts. I'm going to take you back in history and show you what happened. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.